Hello, I'm Vatilda, and this is our Bard playthrough starring the Iron Lung, aka the Schnozzler. In this video, I wanted to see what Skyrim and its mods had to offer for someone who wanted to be a Bard. At the very beginning of this character, I knew I wanted to focus on my speech skill in order to utilize shouts a bit better, seeing as it involves your voice, which I felt was perfect for a Bard character. Though the main skill used for Iron Lung would be Illusion, as it focuses on buffs for my allies and debuffs for my enemies, which in my head suited a Bard playstyle well enough. With all these aspects covered, the only thing I was missing was an instrument to play. So I immediately headed to Solitude to join the Bard's College so I could begin my education in the musical arts. Unfortunately, I spent too much time playing with bugs as a child and wasn't practiced enough in my social skills to join the college. With that said, I left and bought a drum so I could begin practicing myself in hopes that the Bard's College would one day accept me. Oh, I'm doing it. Okay, I guess we're just kind of strumming a beat here. I mean, they clapped for a little bit. Now they're just kind of chilling. I think we're doing good. Yeah, you guys like that? Yeah, I've been working on it for a solid 5 minutes before I showed up here. Oh yeah, we got the Schnozzler today, by the way. Just thought you might want to know. Is that it? I guess that's it. You now have a terrible headache? Why? Oh no. Decreased health. Health is decreased by 20 points for 600 seconds. Your music talents will not increase as much while this is active. After realizing how bad I was, the population of Solitude kicked me out, and so I moved to Whiterun in order to progress my bardic talents. Upon arrival, I worked on my alchemy skill a bit, so I would be able to heal myself in the future, and maybe discover a potion which would make me the best bard in Skyrim, but I had to keep dreaming. Afterwards, I figured, what good is a bard without allies to buff? So, like anyone looking for companionship, I started a bar fight with Uthgerd so I could get to know her a bit better. After exchanging blows, she realized how pathetic I am and decided to accompany me on my adventures through Skyrim so I won't be relying on a wet noodle for a weapon. I eventually bought the muffle spell so I could level up my illusion passively, but that wasn't good enough. So I encouraged some of the local wildlife to say hi to the rural population of Whiterun. With another capital which I am banned from under my belt, I made my way to Winterhold for the next companion. Here I would find the house cat Jazargo. But unfortunately, he wasn't interested until I completed Sarthal. Before venturing to the ruin, I soothed the ears of Winterhold with the calming beat of my drum. After I had slain the walking jerky protecting Skyrim's music server, Jazargo tasked me with testing his new and improved Flamecloak scrolls, which were a little too effective even with a potion of fire resistance. Giving up on my dream of owning a best-in-show cat, I moved down to Windhelm to practice on the drum some more. After I was kicked out of Candlehearth Hall, I made my way to the docks and got a ride to Solstheim. I came here for one reason, and that was to buy my favorite mercenary in the game, Teldrin Sero. Once my second companion was acquired, it was time to start the main story quest. I did this mainly to hit 2 birds with 1 stone. The first was actually completing portions of the main quest, and the second was so I could unlock the Become Ethereal shout, which you can get when you retrieve the horn of Jurgen Windcaller. To start this process, Iron Lung and friends take on Bleak Falls Barrow to retrieve the Dragonstone. Afterwards, we stop by Whiterun for some quick skilling and musical practice. Next, we made our way to Helgen, briefly stopping at Riverwood for a small gig at the Sleeping Giant. Then we found out about the dragon attack and brought the news to Whiterun so we can initiate the first dragon fight in the game, where I realized all of my illusion spells were useless except Rally. After waiting for the dragon to die by the hands of Whiterun guards, I tell Jarl Balgruuf I'm Dragonborn and nab Lydia as a meat shield on my way to High Hrothgar. On my way, I stop at a shack for the best item in the game and discover an odd character who I've never met before. What's up, Godred?
Greetings and salutations. My name is... Wait a minute. Are you an Imperial agent?
Why, yes I am. Nah. As a matter of fact, I'm not.
That's exactly what an Imperial slug would say.
Once I show up in Iverstead, I perform for the wonderful people at the inn and stop by the Shrouded Hearth for some experience and loot. Yeah, come on. He can't go through that doorway. Yo, are you guys gonna like?
What? That's how it's done.
You're dead. What was
What do you think you're doing?
Go get him. Here I give Lydia and Uthgerd a small upgrade to their weapons, and then we finally make our way up the 7,000 steps. Or is it? Daraki?
If there are 500 steps to each marker, then maybe... Ah, this is pointless. Daraki cannot rely on shortcuts.
Is there something I could help you with? Hold on. I'm sorry. Is there something I could help you with, Daraki?
Yes, perhaps you can. There is something foul afoot, friend. Daraki can smell the stench of betrayal in the air.
That's just Miss Temba. She has her own special musk. Best to ignore it.
There are many strange aromas in this town, but that is not what Daraki speaks of. It is High Hrothgar and the conspiracy of the 7,000 steps.
Perhaps it would be best if you explained your dilemma in detail. Yeah. Why don't you just elaborate a little bit, huh?
Daraki talks of the steps to High Hrothgar. Many travelers come to walk the pilgrimage of the 7,000 steps. Yet Daraki finds that number peculiar. Do you not find it odd that the number is so round? Was the path altered to match the myth? Are the steps not all the same size? I have found it difficult to believe, based on my calculations, that there can be any more than 6,972 steps.
Once we meet with Arngir, he gives us a pop quiz on using shouts and tells us to go blow a horn. So I make my way back to Whiterun and buy my own house for future skilling, and head to Morthal afterwards to lighten up the mood of the local population. Once I have the town distracted, I start some grave robbing at Ustengrav, only to find out that someone beat me to the punch. After showing my dominance and claiming the tomb for myself, I began my search for the most prized treasure, become ethereal. I then proceeded to search for the horn, only to come up empty-handed. Though someone did try to leave me a letter, I can only assume it was a crazed fan trying to get my autograph. That aside, I had become ethereal, but I still needed a dragon soul to unlock the shout, and there was one place that stuck out in my head to get the soul. Stopped back at Windhelm and booked it for Bone Strewn Crest, where there is a word wall on top of a mountain guarded by a dragon. Here I ran into a witch who thought she was a part of the fight, and I found a large and rather unusual dragon called the Zephyr Dragon. Though he looked large and intimidating, he was a complete pushover to the giant camp he decided to attack. With Become Ethereal fully unlocked, I could finally test the scrolls Jazargo gifted me. Afterwards, I told him his scrolls suck and he should join my band. We then hit it off at the inn together, where I was immediately kicked out for disturbing the peace. Now that I had all the faithful companions I wanted at my side, it was time for me to focus on my musical talents and spreading my name across Skyrim. It was now my goal to play at every inn around every whole capital and large town. I started off in Riften to play at the Bee and Barb. Afterwards, it was to Helga's bunkhouse. Here I helped out Savannah. She wanted to embarrass Helga because she was too popular with the men, for lack of a nicer term. After presenting her chicken trophies to her face, she lost composure and begged me not to tell. I'm sure Maven didn't hear any of this. He paid me off by gifting me with a scroll so I could moan the right way. With that new knowledge burned into my head, I incorporated it into my music and played at Dawnstar, Falkreath, and Markarth. This is where I earned myself a room for the night by playing at the inn, but before sleeping off the day, I decided to do some poking around and discovered a journal talking about some sappy love story between a witch and a knight here in the Reach. I decided to investigate their burial site so I could rob their graves and get a nice set of armor for Uthgerd and some extra bits for Lydia. Once their equipment was upgraded, I stopped back at Whiterun for some skilling and selling. Afterwards, I continued my quest to make my name known and headed towards Rorikstead. Turns out they were having some kind of celebration, and I got the opportunity to perform a duet during this festival. Oh yeah, okay, this guy's playing. Yo, let's do a duet. I'm with you, man. Hold on. I've been working on this song for a bit, all right? You just follow along. Oh yeah, this is coming together perfectly.
Don't do that.
Once I had proven myself capable of harmonizing with another bard, I was off to Dragon's Bridge to impress my soon-to-be fans. You're getting the hang of this. Oh my god. You hear that? We're getting the hang of this, boys. Let's go again. We're going for an encore. Encore! You hear that? Everyone's asking for an encore. I told you it'd be a hit. Okay, now maybe she won't take me into the back and beat my ass. Once this was completed, I had achieved my goal and decided it was time to try again at the Bard's College. I arrived and spoke with Malika once again, only to say the same exact thing I did the first time, but this time she just approved my test and let me in anyways. I'm gonna be honest, after that it was a lot of reading and quizzes to prove my knowledge on Skyrim's history and on instruments, so here's a summary of what happened.
Are you sure you want to join the college?
Well, of course I'm sure. I'm here to be a bard, god damn it.
Very well.
Pass the history oral examination. You're telling me I actually have to sit here and read? We're going through actual school. I didn't want this. Escrimor!
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. I'm sorry, that's incorrect. I'm sorry, that's
With my college education out of the way, it was time to prove myself to the working bards that I am capable of playing the part. I spoke with Viarmo, who would be initiating me as a formal bard. He tells me I need to retrieve the lost King Olaf's verse. This was required to save Queen Elisif from banning the burning of King Olaf, which is a festival done by the Bard's College. Starter task, I went to Dead Man's Respite, where I would find the soggy old music sheet. After teaming up with Ghost Bard and putting King Olaf to rest a second time, I retrieved the verse and brought it back to Viarmo, to which he realizes he cannot read it and basically makes up most of the verse himself. Luckily, this is enough to convince Queen Elisif not to be such a f***ing and let me graduate. With becoming a formal bard of Bard's College came all of its benefits, namely the spell song scrolls I could now craft. Oh, and a sick new player home. Here I could craft scrolls which allow me to cast spells by playing my instrument of choice. This was the best part for me because I could make myself a proper bard, buffing and debuffing people with the power of song or some bull. Unfortunately, I didn't have enough paper required to make all the spell songs I would want. Not to mention I needed a higher bard skill, but more on that later. To make things more complicated than it needed to be, I decided to help out some of the teachers of the Bard's College in order to get some more paper. Inga Six Fingers wanted me to retrieve Finn's loot, and Gerard Germain, I think that's how you say it. I don't know, I'm lost on that one. Whatever works for you guys. Wanted me to retrieve Riorn's drum. I would need to head to more Nordic ruins to retrieve these instruments, which was good for me because Nordic ruins can have paper lying around and a lot of burnt books. The mod Bards Reborn adds a recipe to make rolls of paper out of burnt books, which means I get more spell songs. First I went to Haldir's cairn to retrieve Riorn's drum and find some paper along the way. Here I had to fight Haldir the unfriendly dickhead all by myself because my companions don't believe in speedrunning dungeons, but by the power of dual casting, I did manage to kill the boss with a slightly faster time than the last run, earning me a gold split. Wait, what? What video am I voicing over again? Right, sorry. After I retrieved Riorn's drum, I decided I was sick and tired of being sick and tired of waiting for my companions to finish their battles. So I went on an epic training montage as shown here. During this time, I played so much music that I was able to unlock every bard skill. This process was about as fun as you can imagine leveling up a skill in Skyrim. It was a very intensive process that required all of my concentration and skill that I honed over the years playing Skyrim. Now I could almost play the spell songs I unlocked. See, unfortunately, spell songs require stamina instead of magicka, which is great, no big deal. I didn't spend 90% of this video leveling magic and specking up my magicka or anything. But like I said before, I wanted to make my companions worth a damn in combat again, so all that time spent on enchanting and smithing went towards leveling my stamina as well. And to top it all off, everyone got gear upgrades and were formidable in combat. With all the training arc out of the way, I went back to the Bard's College and learned the new spell songs I dreamed of. Most of these were just general buffs like defensive stat increases and offensive stat increases, but the star of the show here was Falling Stars. This spell song was my favorite. It mimics Alduin's shout, which calls down hellfire upon your foes and turns them into a crisp jerky for you to enjoy afterwards. This would be my main source of damage, if not my companion's for the time being. And it felt like a very rewarding spell to obtain for my 45 minutes spent pressing the same button over and over again. With all these wonderful things obtained, I felt it was time to get off the big stage and quit running from my destiny. The world was in trouble from Alduin, and I can't continue being a rock star abusing drugs with him in the way. So I finally decided to speak with Delphine at the Sleeping Giant Inn and get on with it. I did the usual, kill a dragon to prove who I am, infiltrate the Thalmor embassy with my expert skills in espionage.
I remember your name from the guest list. Please.
You need
tell
something,
me more
lady?
about yourself. What brings you to this... to Skyrim?
Well, I happen to be the Dragonborn, and I'm gonna break into your embassy and steal all the information that you happen to have on Skyrim and possibly the dragons, and she's not listening. Okay, anywho. Then we went to look for Esbern in the sewers, though Jazargo lost his head trekking through the waste. After I calmed him down, I spoke with Esbern and brought him back to the Sleeping Giant Inn. Next, I got the Elder Scroll with the help of some jelly I found in Teldrin's bag. Afterwards, we finally learned Dragonrend, and it was time for the big showdown where I play my epic song that would crush Alduin's spirit. The gods, somebody's... Intense. It'd be a little bit more intense if... They missed chest day. Parthenax, you're not helping, man. He just killed me again. He just... Ow! 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 And everything I did was useless. So just for everyone's information, I have Moral Loot installed, which de-levels all the enemies in the game. This means anything can be whatever level the mod sets it to. So a dungeon you may be able to clear at level 1 or level 5, whatever it may be, in the base game may not be possible until you're level 20 and fully kitted. Alduin in this case is a drunken sailor, and my companions and I are a bunch of baby seals. In this case, to save myself some time, I decided to craft myself a decent bow and set myself up with enchanted armor to take on Alduin myself. At this point, I'm playing a bard with more inspiration from Final Fantasy XIV Online, which also uses a bow but can still debuff and buff people, you know? But, you know, I don't really see a problem with this, and I never made a rule that I couldn't deal damage myself. I was at the end of the game, and I didn't really feel like spending 2 hours trying to get my companions to kill Alduin for me. Alright, so, deal with it. So, with the new and improved set, I was ready to fight. Are you kidding me? He killed me anyway? Yeah, he was still really tough. I had no upgrades to my HP because all of my points and leveling went to stamina and magicka. And there was a little bit from enchanting, but this still did not help. So with a little bit of time and playing like a bitch, I managed to put the giant seagull down. He ran away embarrassed that a bard in tights could take him on, and I had to track him down. So we captured Odaving, and after 20 hours of playing Baby Shark on my loot, he cracked and took me to Skuldafn. Here I blazed through the dungeon because I forgot I had a concert scheduled in Solitude 12 hours from now, so I grabbed the 3 great warriors by the balls and dragged them outside the Hall of Valor, and we yelled at some mist to give us some personal space. Once this was done, Alduin finally arrived, and we initiated him into the band with a little bit of light hazing. He decided it really wasn't for him, so he took off, never to be seen again. And just like that, the day was saved, and Iron Lung could continue soothing the hearts of Skyrim with his massive flute.
Now, Mr. Baster, I was under the impression you were taking me to the all-you-can-eat sweet roll buffet after that business in the spooky castle. So why the hell am I in Solitude? Alright, just calm down, Crippleborn, and let me ask this guy what's going on. Oh, so he's the one who did it! No, don't kill him. I want to know why we're here, okay? I better get my damn sweet roll. Hello, fellow brother. How are we on this fine day? Better than you can imagine, holy man. I got this spell song to work. So what should I have you two do first? Right. That's the thing we're wondering, how we got summoned all the way across Skyrim. That would be all thanks to my spell song, my friend. It's designed to summon the most powerful beings in Skyrim, though it should have brought at least 2 more, but this works just fine. Listen here, Nostril Nazi. I'm due a sweet roll, and if you think I'm going to be your cripple bitch for the night, you've got another thing coming. Crippleborn, I told you to calm down. I can take care of this if you just shut up. Crippleborn, huh? Kinda like how I'm the Dragonborn. Wait, I thought you were the Dragonborn. Maybe I'll have you two make me a sweet roll. Those do sound good right now. That's it, I'm pranking him.
Wait, no, I have a music career. Make it
Oh
stop,
dear
you, like,
Mara, here we
sick
go
son of a
again.
bitch.